Hey everybody, how's it going? So got another super exciting Saturday afternoon gear demo. Been doing these about once a week as of late. So if you want to check out some gear stuff, make sure you tune in Saturday afternoons because gonna have some new and cool stuff over the next few weeks. Anyway, today we're going to be taking a look at something brand new here from IK Multimedia. You guys remember that company? I did those iLoud monitors there about a year and a half ago. You know, they were decent size, loud as hell, absolutely fantastic, great for a portable monitoring setup. Anyway, they've come up with a brand new plugin called the Comprexxor. And oh wow, where have I seen those style of knobs before? Wonder if that has anything to do with it. Interesting indeed. Anyway, this is supposed to be the Swiss Army knife compressor. And tell you what, I've got it all over this mix here. You tell me what you think just from the get-go. There's a lot of in-the-box compression going on here. Most of it's done with the Comprexxor. I've got this on kick, snare, overheads, rooms, and my mix bus and the bass guitar as well. Check this out. Wow, that's not bad. That's pretty impressive. Now, truth be told, a lot of you guys have been saying, hey, Glenn, your mix has been getting really good as of late. And that's a whole combination of a number of things. But the one thing I am doing quite a bit of is I'm mixing out of the box. I'm mixing using a lot of outboard gear. And that's where the Focusrite Redline 16 has come in handy because I've been able to implement all this extra analog stuff that I've got actually over on this side. And that's what all this cabling here is, all my patching through my patch bay. And for kick and snare, I've usually been using a Trident 80B EQ. I'm using that on kick and snare mics. And then those are running into a Drawmer DL241 dual channel compressor gate. And I'm just using the compressors on that. I'm using a software gate. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull up the snare and the kick, and I'm going to show you guys the difference between out of the box using an analog piece of gear versus the Comprexxor. Because I tried to get these set up to sound very similar to the Drawmers in this thing. Now here's the thing. This IK software here is designed to emulate a very, very famous compressor that I happen to use an awful lot on my monologue, and I'm actually using it right now. We're going to take a look at the software on a vocal mix a little bit further down the road. But the whole thing is it's supposed to be useful on a whole bunch of sources, not just a couple things. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to compare this against some real world hardware. We're going to compare this against the Drawmer DL241 and a couple of Stam 1176s, as well as my Gainlab tube Varimute. Not going to be quite the same thing, but I'm pretty impressed though, just on the kick and snare here. Unfortunately, I don't have a bunch of Drawmer DL241s, so I'm not going to be using them on toms. But I did run the Comprexxor on the toms as well. Yeah, this is one of those songs that's just got one tom fill. Sorry about your luck. Anyway, just to show you what's going on here, let's pull this up on the snare drum. And we've got this on the snare bus here, and you can see I got a RIA insert, and that's going out to my Trident EQ. So we're just going to listen to this section where we got a nice clean snare beat. So here we go. Let's swap this out. We'll start with software, and we'll switch over to hardware. So when this clicks off here, that should be a good indicator what's going on. Anyway, take a listen here. I gotta say, that's really impressive, actually. The snare is honestly a little bit boxier sounding with the hardware compressor. The Comprexxor has kind of added maybe just a little bit more softness and a little bit more attack all at the same time. And I think that has a lot to do with the distortion and tone controls here. And it's just... you can just kind of round things off in a very analog sounding kind of way, which is really bizarre considering this is a piece of software. So major props to IK there. I don't know if I'm going to get rid of my Drawmer anytime soon, but damn, that is impressive. And again, this will make up for the fact that I don't have a whole bunch of them. So it goes pretty good toe to toe against the Drawmer, I got to say. We'll check this out on kick as well. We might not get quite a good result, but let's take a look here. So I'm going to pull this up again. We've got the reinsert going. Again, this is going to the Trident EQ, and then we're coming back into the system to go through the compressor. Let's take a listen here, just by itself. Get a lot of compression out here. And this is the thing. I'm hitting the hardware Drawmer just as hard as I'm hitting the compressor here. And again, 10-to-1 ratio, I'd like to hit kick drums hard. So let's take a listen again. We're going to swap these out. Maybe a little bit louder there. Kick drums maybe a little bit bigger sounding with the hardware, but I'm liking the results I'm getting here with the software. Maybe I can tweak this up just a little bit more. It seemed to be a little bit louder coming out of the Drawmer as well. So let's bring this up just a touch. And this is great. One thing I love is, the increments here. You just bring things up ever so slightly. We're going to hit this with the distortion a little bit harder. Pull that up. Yeah, like that gets a little farty if you start hitting it too hard. Okay, let's try that out against the hardware. Honestly, it's a little tighter sounding with the software as well. So that's not bad. I mean, I think I could go with either one of those on a record. But again, context, full mix. Here we are. We're both using kick and snare software compressor here. I think I could put that on a client's record and be okay with it. I mean, I don't think I'd be hearing too many complaints. I mean, this is the thing. I really like it on the snare, maybe not as much on the kick. Maybe the kick's got a little bit something more to offer using the hardware version, but we're talking about maybe a 3-4% difference there. So not too bad at all. The other thing is stereo rooms. Now this one's kind of fun as well. I can do this and I don't have to punch this in and out because I'm not going out to an EQ here. What I can do, somebody showed me this a little while ago, and this is swapping between hardware and software. Oh, like the redraw here. Hey, nice. That's a nice touch. Didn't know we could do that. Is for all you Reaper guys, pay attention here. Somebody was nice enough to point this out to me. Is if you highlight two effects and you use Start B, because I'm on a Windows keyboard into a Hackintosh here, it'll swap back and forth instantaneously. So with the room mics here, I've got it going to the compressor, but in the hardware realm, I've got it going to a pair of Stam 1176s, and I utterly love these compressors. But I'm pretty impressed by just how close I can get these to sound to an 1176. So let's pull that up, and we'll just swap back and forth here. Now, when we go to reinsert here, that's hardware, and then we'll switch back and forth to software. Watch the bouncing ball, kids. Let it play. And swap. You hit that a bit harder. Maybe a bit harder. Now, we're really pushing things into the distortion region here. I've also got it in GB mode, which is kind of like the all-in buttons on an 1176. And as you can hear a slight difference and whatnot, but it's still got, a pretty aggressive attack. So again, one more time, let's start with software and we'll go back to hardware. One more time. Oh, here we go. Put that on max mode. Actually, on the hardware, 6-to-1. We'll try that. Nope, that's not doing anything. Let's try that. Regardless, I think we're getting a pretty similar result. Maybe it's not 100%, and that's fine. I mean, you know, we are asking this thing to do an awful lot, but I got to say, I'm pretty impressed with the results I'm getting. Oh yeah, did I mention it's only $129? Holy crap, how the hell they pulled that off, I have no idea, but I do like the results we're getting so far. Like I said, I'd have no problem putting this on a client's record whatsoever. That's squishy as hell. Same thing on overheads. You know, I just like to use this just to maybe grab a bit of the snare peaks. Crank it on. What's great is you got a dry wet control. So you can do a bit of parallel compression. So you're not killing the peaks. Still letting a bit through. Let's listen to that in a mix. Dial that right in. Yeah, that's really impressive. Again, this is kind of like one of those, you know, Swiss Army knife compressors, and it's like my only regret here is they don't have a crap ton of presets. There needs to be some drum and bass presets for this. I don't know. Maybe IK will let me send them some in the future. Maybe that might be kind of fun. We'll see. Anyway, but yeah, like I said, this might actually become one of my absolute favorite software comps. I really like the Brit mode, and I really like the different distortion modes. I mean, like, I've definitely worked with a couple other software versions of this compressor, and speaking as a guy who's owned the hardware version since like 2003, you know, this is pretty close. How does it stack up against some of the other software versions? That's going to be a video in the future, but I would definitely recommend taking a look at this because damn, this is really cool. And again, we got it on bass guitar as well. Nothing too insane here in terms of settings. I mean, you know, 4:1 ratio, distortion 3. That's kind of like the tape type distortion. Yeah, 4.5, 5. That's the thing. If you've used the hardware, you know, you just set everything at 5 and it's pretty much going to sound good. You don't really have to worry about that too much. Again, bass, not a big deal. Yeah. All right, now my next biggest concern here is the mix bus. This is something I use all the time, like a 4:1 ratio, slow attack, you know, medium release, that kind of thing. Now, the one complaint I have with this is it doesn't have an auto release, but that's fine. The hardware doesn't have an auto release. So I've set it up as bus glue. So what we are here is a 4:1 attack, slowest attack, or 4:1 ratio, slowest attack. We've got a little bit of the high pass filter going on. That's so the compression doesn't get completely out of control. And, you know, we're not adding any distortion. I want something fairly clean just to keep things under control. If I punch this out, you know, we want to keep the mix under control. This way we can hear everything, you know. But what I've got set here is I've got this going out to my Gainlab's dictator. And this is my favorite thing ever. It's wound up on so many mixes over the last few months since I started working with that company. It's an absolute favorite, but let's test this out against the hardware here. Check it out. That's hardware. Wow, that is really damn impressive. If you took a look, I only had a couple of dBs of gain reduction going on down here. And I was set up for very clean. Like I said, the big secret is using that low frequency roll off so the detector circuit doesn't go completely out of control here. Let's see what happens if we crank that up just a little bit. But I got to say, that holds up against the hardware very, very well. I'm kind of shocked. I originally had it set for a slightly faster attack. I wasn't happy with the results I was getting. This is a little bit more gentle on the sound. So we're going to try kicking in maybe just a little bit more of that high pass filter, and then we're going to try adding a little distortion into the mix as well, just to give it a little bit more zing. Let's see what happens here, but I got a feeling this is going to be a lot more fun than I think it deserves to be. Let's take a look. So if we take this up, that's letting way too much through, obviously. But as we turn this off, it definitely slams down the mix a little too hard. Go about 40 hertz, just below the crap. Just gets rid of some of the rumble we don't want. Let's add a little bit of tape saturation here. That's what Distortion 3 is. Distortion 2, of course, is more like a Class A type distortion, and Distortion 3 is the tape version. So let's add a little bit of that tape saturation on this mix. A little more here. Okay, that might be a little much. But if we're listening to this on the mix, Distortion 2 seems to let a little bit more through. 3 seems to be a little more brick wall. Maybe a little more. And again, we're just going to switch this back and forth to the hardware. Add a bit more on the input here, get a little more compression going on. I gotta say, I really like how that works on a full mix. I'm kind of impressed. I'm gonna save this as a preset, actually, because I think that really needs to be saved. Holy crap, I gotta say, I like that. That actually, I think, kind of holds its own against the hardware there. I'm kind of shocked, to be honest. I mean, like, if I played with the Gainlab a little more, I could probably get a little bit more of that saturation going on. But that is extremely impressive. Way to go, IK. I didn't think it was going to be able to pull that off. Like I said, when I first put this up on a mix bus, I wasn't particularly thrilled, but if you open up the attack time and maybe add in a little bit more saturation, yeah, it's not bad as a mix bus compressor at all. Just got to be real sparing with how much distortion you let onto the mix. That is really, really, really impressive. I got to say, I'm kind of blown away by that. One more thing we're going to take a look at is vocals. Now, what I've got here is an older mix I did in 2019, so it doesn't have a lot of the live effects going on and whatnot. What I did use it on, though, was vocals here. I just wanted to see how it would sound on a vocal track, and we're going to pull up that mix we did of Satsy Guy a couple of years ago. We got Trey Watson on vocals here, and we use this primarily here on the main vocal track and then these two backups as well, and I'm just hitting it really hard. I'm not sure if I'm in Brit mode or not. Let's take a peek here, see what we got. We got the compressor, we got a little bit of EQ, and then a little bit of that Little Labs microshift just to kind of spread things out a little bit. But fast attack, oh yeah, we do have it in British mode here. Let's take a look here, because I wanted very aggressive vocals.
I am a terrorist straight out of hell.
A little bit of that slap delay going on too. I love that little distortion going on. That is so cool. I I gotta say that works like a champ on vocals, especially for aggressive vocals. You know, just having those extra distortion modes. Let's see if we can take a look at that main vocal one more time. Let's see what we can do to that verse and just add maybe just a little bit more distortion into there. See what we can get happening. And there we go. There's our verse right here. Let's take a look.
I am a terrorist straight out of hell.
Whoa. Wow, that's cool.
I am a terrorist straight out of hell.
Okay, what's going on here? Oh, I see what's going on. Hey, just learned something here. So yeah, it's like the distortion knob and the gain reduction knob are definitely linked. So wow, I never knew you could do that. That's pretty neat. So add a little more distortion. The more distortion, the less gain reduction you're gonna get here. I had no idea. Interesting. Get a bit more going on here. A little more distortion. Let's pull the output out a bit. You see, this is just flatlined here now. That's cool. Okay, that might be probably one of the coolest vocal distortion effects I think I've ever heard digitally. Listen to that scream. Oh, wow, that's cool. Wow, that's like fingernails on a blackboard in a good way. That is really freaking cool. I've been trying to get that kind of vocal distortion digitally for I don't know how long. I've tried so many different plugins and whatnot. This is the first one that's actually managed to pull that off. Holy smokes. Okay, I gotta say, I'm really, really blown away by this thing. I think I'm gonna be using this on a whole bunch of mixes in the future. All right, now I gotta say one of my favorite features here before I go here is just, you know, the ability to just grab a corner here and, you know, just expand that as large as you want. That's freaking cool. That's one thing I love about modern plugins is that we can do that and just make things super easy to work with. Anyway, just consulting my notes here. The plugin is $129 there, but there is a 14-day free trial, so you can go grab it, try it out on a couple of your mixes and see how well it works in your own workflow. I got to say, this might be the best version of software that's trying to emulate this thing that I've seen so far. I mean, wow, just what it did to that vocal just kind of blew my mind. That was pretty damn impressive. Is it the Swiss Army knife of compressors? You bet it is. Wow. Now, this is the thing. I normally don't do sponsored videos unless I think, you know, the product has something to offer the viewer. This has definitely got it. But then again, don't take my word for it. Follow the link in the description below, grab the trial, try it out for yourself, and see how well it works for you. I think you're going to like what it can do. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.